This is the news on ASO Television. I am Richard Alechinwanye. By the headlines. President Tinubu urges leaders to show compassion for poor, underprivileged. Federal government to complete ongoing dam and irrigation projects nationwide. Abaji chairman-elect embarks on courtesy visit to traditional and religious leaders. And on business, federal government unlocks game-changing reforms in agricultural insurance to boost food security. The news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has called on Muslim and Christian leaders in the country to show greater compassion for the poor and underprivileged by pursuing policies that cater to the needs of the majority in the grassroots. The president made the call on Monday while hosting governors for the breaking of an interfaith fast at the presidential villa. Said the simultaneous periods of abstinence and penitence for both religions underscore a common humanity. Disclosing this in a statement, presidential spokesman Bayo Ononuga said President Tinubu noted that Ramadan and Lent provide opportunities for leaders in both religions to reflect further on the plight of others and to design programs that will directly impact the livelihoods of many. The president said more could be achieved, especially in reducing poverty and empowering the youth. President Tinubu also welcomed the Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf Kabir to the State House. The president commended Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State for his magnanimity for both Muslims and Christians during the period of fasting. Following the official declaration of Alhaji Abubakar Umar Abdullahi as chairman-elect of Abaji Area Council by the Abaji Area Council returning officer, Professor Muhammad Usman of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), the chairman-elect has commenced post-election engagements with key stakeholders, popularly known as AUA. The chairman-elect embarked on a series of courtesy visits to traditional and religious institutions across the council. Accompanied by members of his entourage, he paid homage to the paramount ruler of Abaji and chairman FCT Traditional Council of Chiefs, Alhaji Dr. Adamu Baba Yunusa, the chief imam of Abaji, Alhaji Bala Usman, the Magajian Abaji, and other respected traditional title holders and community leaders. The visits were aimed at formally presenting the INEC certificate of return and seeking royal blessings, prayers, and guidance ahead of the commencement of his administration. In their remarks, the traditional and religious leaders congratulated the chairman-elect on his victory and offered prayers for wisdom, strength, and divine guidance as he prepares to assume office. In response, Alhaji Abubakar Umar Abdullahi expressed profound gratitude to the traditional rulers, religious leaders, and the people of Abaji Area Council for their trust and overwhelming support. He reaffirmed his commitment to good governance, unity, transparency, and people-oriented development, while calling on all stakeholders to work together for the progress of Abaji Area Council. The federal government is to channel the 2026 budget of the Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation into completing ongoing dam and irrigation projects nationwide to boost agriculture and strengthen food security. Minister in charge of the ministry, Engineer Joseph Utsev, disclosed this during his budget defense session with the House of Representatives Committee on Water Resources on Monday at the National Assembly. The minister, accompanied by directors and senior officials of the ministry, presented a proposed estimate of 98 billion naira as the ministry's 2026 budget, highlighting program implementation, infrastructure development, and policy priorities as the focus. He further emphasized aggressive implementation of water, sanitation, and hygiene programs, including intensified efforts to end open defecation across the country, disclosing that 17 states are currently benefiting from the expansion of the Sustainable Urban and Rural Water, Sanitation, and Hygiene and Partnership for Expanded Water Supply, Sanitation, and Hygiene Programs. At the end of the meeting, the committee, presided over by the Deputy Chairman, Mr. Mukhtar Chawai, with the substantive chairman, Mr. Sada Soli, elected to take his seat as an ordinary member, resolved to undertake nationwide visits to ongoing dam and irrigation projects to independently verify implementation progress and ensure value for money. The chairman reaffirmed the committee's commitment to diligent oversight, stressing that effective water resources management remains critical to national development, agricultural productivity, climate resilience, and improved public health outcomes. The National Orientation Agency and the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, have launched a joint effort to boost investor education and combat fraudulent schemes in Nigeria. The partnership aims to leverage NOA's grassroots reach and SEC's regulatory expertise to promote financial literacy and protect investors. The collaboration was formalized on February 19, 2026, with a joint committee inauguration at NOA headquarters in Abuja. NOA's Director of Media and Communication, Mr. Bala Musa, highlighted the importance of nationwide outreach, stating that investor education shouldn't be limited to urban areas. SEC reported that Nigerians lost 1.5 trillion naira to unregulated investment schemes last year, emphasizing the need for aggressive public sensitization. The agency's plan to develop a national strategy, deploy expert knowledge, and organize training programs to equip personnel for effective sensitization. They both agreed to a minimum 3-day intensive training program that will be organized to equip designated personnel with the technical knowledge required for effective nationwide sensitization. Both institutions reaffirmed their commitments to protecting Nigerian investors and restoring public confidence in the capital markets. Similarly, the National Orientation Agency, NOA, has expressed deep sorrow over the tragic death of some miners at Kampani Zurich in Wase, local government area of Plateau State, and called for the strict enforcement of safety regulations and improved protective measures across mining sites nationwide to prevent further or future occurrences and safeguard lives. Speaking on the tragic mining accidents that claimed several lives, the agency's Director General, Malam Lanre Isa Onilu, described the incident as completely unacceptable in a modern society, stressing that strict compliance with safety rules and regulations must be made a top priority as it is essential to protecting human lives and preserving critical national infrastructure. He further emphasized that the dangers associated with unauthorized mining operations and substandard safety measures far outweigh any perceived benefits, warning that such reckless practices frequently give rise to devastating consequences, including the kind of explosions and infernos that had claimed lives in the tragic incident. The DG also urged Nigerians to collectively stand against actions that have repeatedly resulted in mass casualties, national trauma, and the needless loss of lives, stressing that such tragedies are entirely avoidable. He concluded by calling on relevant authorities and stakeholders in the mining sector to intensify efforts in enforcing compliance with established safety standards, urging that routine inspections and monitoring of mining sites be strengthened to prevent future occurrence. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, has called on members of the public to provide credible information regarding alleged incidents of child sexual abuse and misconduct in daycare centers across Nigeria. In a statement issued on its in a public notice issued on Tuesday via its official X handle, the agency said it was committed to thoroughly investigating concerns raised in recent public discussions and viral posts. NAPTIP urged anyone with factual information, evidence, or direct knowledge of the alleged incidents, including individuals personally affected, to contact the agency confidentially. The statement comes in response to recent widespread public discussions and viral social media posts highlighting alleged incidents in daycare environments. While specific details of the viral content were not elaborated in the statement, NAPTIP's response underscores its broader mandate to protect children from all forms of exploitation, including sexual abuse. The Nigerian Communications Commission has launched a public consultation process as part of its review of the National Telecommunications Policy 2000, inviting industry stakeholders and members of the public to submit written feedback. The consultation, which is in line with the provisions of the Nigerian Communications Act 2003, seeks to gather inputs that will inform the development of the NTP 2026. The updated policy sets to replace the current framework after 25 years. Stakeholders are required to submit contributions by Friday, 20th of March 2026, either addressed to the Executive Vice Chairman or the Chief Executive Officer of the NCC. The review follows the inauguration of a Ministerial Steering Committee and a Ministerial Technical Committee by the Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani. tasked with guiding the update of the policy. The revised policy will align with the ministry's strategic blueprint, accelerating collective prosperity through technical efficiency, and will address critical issues such as spectrum management, broadband penetration, universal access, net neutrality, and quality of service. Speaking in the consultation paper, the Executive Vice Chairman of the NCC, Dr. Aminu Meida, said the process marks the first step in a multi-layered engagement aimed at ensuring the new policy reflects the current realities of Nigeria's telecom sector. You are watching ASO Television News. Don't forget that you can watch us live on DSTV channel 392, StarTimes TV channel 127, and on Free TV, look us up on channel 507. On the UHF band, you can find us on channel 38. Don't forget that this news is also streaming live on our Facebook and YouTube channels. Now, still to come. Federal government unlocks game-changing reforms in agricultural insurance to boost food security. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Uyayeka inemeka isombrembre ukurizo ikpaiso mbokpa uton komien Edidio Odofia, I bless you today as a family native daughter of water.
The heck are you doing here? I'm covering the Uyere festival. You've got to be kidding me.
You will be a great king, the youngest king to be selected by this village.
This is my place, and I can mess with you in ways you cannot imagine.
Transforming Nigeria's automotive policy into law has been identified as a foundation to reviving the country's automobile sector for economic gains. The Director General of National Automotive Design and Development Council, Otumba Joseph Osanipim, among other industry experts, made separate remarks as well as paper presentations at a one-day capacity building program for journalists covering the House of Representatives arm of the National Assembly. The DG, who noted that Nigeria's automotive industry development plan provides direction for the sector, said long-term industrial growth requires legal certainty, adding that until the industry's regulatory framework is backed by legislation, investors will remain restrained. He revealed that Nigeria currently spends trillions of naira annually on vehicle and spare parts imports, but that the council aims to reverse the trend through a localization program targeting domestic production of selected automotive components. The agency boards recognize that improved understanding of sectoral policy among legislative reporters would enhance public discourse and support evidence-based decision-making. Chairman of the House Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Mr. Akintunde Rotimi Jr., corroborated the agency's stance by stressing the need for specialized knowledge among legislative reporters.
2024, U.S. imposed 100% tariff on electric vehicle coming from China. In August, I think August 23, thereabout 2024, China followed suit. But the reporting from U.S. was 100% in support. They own their own narrative. If that is done in Nigeria, if the tariff is increased by 5% in order to protect our own, what will the narrative be? What will we wake up and see the following day in the press? Will the press see the reason why we have to protect our own? Will they see the reason why we have to build capacity? By the time we are protecting our own, we are building capacity. And these are the reasons why we have to have basic understanding of why we are doing this.
We recognize that legislative work does not end with lawmaking or oversight. It is complemented when policies, reforms, and sectoral interventions are clearly understood by citizens. The House of Representatives Press Corps and parliamentary media teams occupy a critical space in this process. You translate legislative intent, oversight outcomes, and policy frameworks into public knowledge. In doing so, you strengthen transparency, accountability, and democratic trust. It is for this reason that the House, through its Committee on Media and Public Affairs, has institutionalized a structured and continuous capacity building program for our media ecosystem.
In a goodwill message, Chairman of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUJ-FCT Council, Comrade Grace Ike, urged legislative reporters and media professionals to further strengthen policy focused reporting on Nigeria's automotive industry, as she recognized informed journalism as vital to public understanding, investment attraction, and accountability. The chairman of the House of Representatives Press Corps, Mr. Gboyega Onadiran, on his part, described the current moment as a critical turning point for Nigeria's economy. He believes existing installed capacity supported by the Nigeria Automotive Industry Development Plan provides a foundation for deeper local content and sustainable industry expansion.
In a nation where automotive sector holds immense potential for job creation, economic diversification and technological advancement, such as this effort here, are the spark we need. Our theme today cuts to the heart of our shared responsibility, and as journalists and media aides, we are the custodians of information.
Nigeria, with over 200 million people and one of Africa's largest consumer markets, should not merely be a destination for imported vehicles. We must deliberately position ourselves as a production hub. For decades, dependence on fully built imported vehicles has resulted in massive capital flights, limited industrial expansion, persistent pressure on foreign exchange, weak local value chains, among others.
The workshop, organized by the NADDC in collaboration with the House of Committee on Media and Public Affairs, had at its theme strengthening sectoral policy communication and legislative reporting on Nigeria's automotive industry development. The Office of the Civil Service of the Federation has released the results of the written examination conducted for aspiring permanent secretaries, marking the successful completion of the first stage of the rigorous selection process. Out of the 25 candidates who participated in the initial written examination, 14 candidates have progressed to the subsequent phase of the exercise. Mrs. Enolotu, Director of Press and Public Relations, in a statement released that the next stage, an information and communication technology proficiency test, is scheduled to be held on Wednesday, 25th of February 2026. Commenting on the results, the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Mrs. Didi Esther Wilson-Jock, affirmed that the entire process is being conducted with utmost credibility and competitiveness. She emphasized that the exercise is a direct reflection of the federal government's reform agenda aimed at building a professional, accountable, and future-ready public service. The head of the Civil Service of the Federation declared that the office is committed to a transparent and merit-based process that identifies leaders of proven competence, unwavering integrity, and strategic vision to steer the federal civil service. She reassured Nigerians that the entirety of the selection process will continue to be guided by the principles of fairness and integrity in strict alignment with the broader governance and public service renewal agenda of the federal government. The National Agency for Food, Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, on Sunday said it uncovered a warehouse stocked with banned, substandard, and unregistered cosmetic products in Lagos. In a statement on its official X handle, NAFDAC disclosed that the products valued at over 3 billion naira were uncovered at the APT Trade Fair Complex. It said that the facility was concealed within an uncompleted building. It stated that items recovered include 728 cartons of Crusader soap, 718 cartons of E45 soap, and extract gold whitening soaps, which are products banned by the federal government. The agency further said that additional items such as assorted perfumes, body oils, and cooking oils were also found and placed on hold for further regulatory assessment. It added that all seized products had been evacuated to prevent distribution, while the warehouse manager has been invited for further investigation as enforcement actions continue. NAFDAC also warned that the sale and use of such products pose serious health risk. Flight operations have fully resumed at the Murtala Muhammad International Airport in Lagos following a fire outbreak that disrupted activities on Monday. The Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN, confirmed that normal operations have been restored after the incident at the airport's Terminal 1. Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of FAN, Olubunmi Kuku, said preliminary investigations indicated that the fire may have started on the ground floor of the terminal, where offices and a restaurant are located, before spreading to the roof. FAN confirmed that 14 persons initially trapped at a control tower were successfully rescued and safely evacuated after a crane was deployed to support emergency operations. A total of 6 people, 3 males and 3 females, sustained injuries and are currently in stable condition, while one of the victims has been transferred to the FAN headquarters hospital for further medical evaluation. Authorities say no fatalities were recorded, while investigations into the cause of the fire are ongoing. The Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau has strengthened efforts to improve Nigeria's rail safety framework through a strategic engagement with the United Kingdom's Rail Accident Investigation Branch. During a February 12, 2026 visit to RAIB's Derby Operational Center, NSIB officials participated in the technical exchanges focused on aligning Nigeria's rail accident investigation processes with global best practices. Discussions covered digital case management, quality assurance systems, investigator training, and institutional independence. The move follows the expansion of NSIB's mandate under the 2022 Acts to cover rail, marine, and other transport modes. Under the leadership of Captain Alex Bade Jr., the Bureau says it is prioritizing operational autonomy and data-driven safety reforms. The collaboration is expected to strengthen Nigeria's accident investigation capacity as rail infrastructure continues to expand across the country. Minister of State for Finance Dr. Doris Uzoka-Anete in Abuja, while receiving the Honorable Minister of State for Agriculture, Senator Aliu Saba Abdullahi, to unlock game-changing reforms in agricultural insurance and cooperatives, disclosed that the discussions focused on 2 strategic initiatives, including reform and recapitalization of the Nigerian Agricultural Insurance Corporation and the Renewed Hope Cooperative Reform Program. Dr. Uzoka-Anete stated that agricultural insurance plays a pivotal role in de-risking food production, particularly for smallholder farmers who form the backbone of Nigeria's food system, emphasizing that strengthening NAIC within the evolving regulatory landscape, including the Nigerian Insurance Industry Reform Act, is critical to improving resilience and financial sustainability, while reiterating readiness to support and look forward to reviewing the detailed proposal for coordinated fiscal and regulatory action. She added that the Ministry of Finance views agricultural risk mitigation not merely as sectoral reform, but as an economic stabilizer with significant GDP impact. According to her, these strategic reforms underscore Nigeria's commitment to transforming agriculture into a resilient, market-driven sector, boosting food security and driving inclusive economic growth. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS Commission, has signed memoranda of understanding with Nigeria's Rural Electrification Agency under the Regional Off-Grid Electricity Access Project pilot programs to expand electricity access to key public institutions in Niger State. The initiative will provide reliable off-grid power to primary health care centers and schools with additional interventions in the Federal Capital Territory and Nasarawa State. The partnership aims to bridge energy access gaps in rural and underserved communities, strengthen essential social services, and promote inclusive socio-economic development. By deploying sustainable off-grid solutions, the program seeks to improve healthcare delivery and educational outcomes across beneficiary communities. Speaking at the signing ceremony in Abuja, ECOWAS Commission President Omar Taure described electricity as a key driver of development, stressing that rural electrification creates opportunities for economic growth and social progress. He highlighted the importance of the intervention for Niger State, given its significant energy deficit. Governor of Niger State, Umar Bago, welcomed the collaboration and emphasized the central role of reliable power supply in achieving the state's development priorities. He also called for expanded cooperation with ECOWAS in sectors such as education and agriculture. Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the REA, Abba Abubakar Aliyu noted the scale of electricity deficits across sub-Saharan and West Africa, describing the agreement as a timely and strategic response to regional energy access challenges. And that does it all on the news. But before we go, a recap of one of our major stories again. We told you that President Bola Tinubu has called on Muslim and Christian leaders in the country to show greater compassion for the poor and underprivileged by ensuring policies that cater to the needs of the majority in the grassroots. That's the news. I am Richard Alechinonye. Many thanks for watching. Good afternoon.